What's up, y'all? So, getting into restart today. Um, if you look um, on chapter 4, it starts with a guy named Brendan Espinoza. And I want to mention that because I feel like there was some confusion yesterday. So, the first chapter is from Chase Ambrosy's perspective. The second chapter was from Shosh's perspective. Third chapter, we went back to Chase Ambrosy's perspective. And now we're on Brendan Espinoza's perspective. So every chapter is a different character's perspective. So we need to make sure we're tracking that either in our comp book or on some kind of piece of paper while we're reading. The reason being is we're trying to get all these different perspectives because we're trying to figure out who Chase is. We don't know who Chase is. Chase doesn't even know who Chase is. So be aware of that. Make sure on our Google Classroom today you're answering your questions. Chapters 4 and 5 are on the classroom. So let's make sure we're getting that. Our words we're looking for today are apex, trust, raucous, and coddle. So make sure you're getting those definitions today. Let's just get into it today. I don't have a lot. Make sure if you have any questions, you join that daily Zoom meeting at 11:30. And I'll be able to answer all your questions there. Anything else, you can email me or send me a message on Google Hangouts. Okay? All right, here we go. Chapter 4, Brendan Espinoza. The impressive breadth and diversity of wildlife in the modern middle school is on display nowhere more than in the lunchroom. Here we see the species, Cheerleaderus maximus, grazing in her native habitat, the salad bar. I focus on Brittany Vandervelde and Letitia Butts as they make their delicate selection of lettuce, cucumber, and tomato slices. As I shoot, I balance the flip cam on the forearm to keep it steady. Everything looks better on YouTube when the camera work isn't all jumpy. A longing glance in the direction of the pizza table, I continue my narration. But alas, it is not to be. For cheerleaders, this meal is garnished with radish, rose, and fat-free dressing. And wait, I pull back the shot to include Jordan McDaniel, heading out of the food line with a heavily laden tray. Could it be? Yes, a rare Clumsius Faldownus, weaving his way to the nearest table. You can do it, Clumsius. Uh-oh, there goes the soup, and that orange rolling across the floor. Oh man, this stuff writes itself. Who needs a script when you've got real life? And now we leave the relative safety of the food line and venture into the lion's den. I go on panning over to the corner of the table where Aaron Hakamian, Bear Bratsky, and some of their football buddies are eating too much and laughing too loud. This is the land of the carnivores, where lesser animals fear to tread. Don't I know it? I'm filming on maximum zoom, even though it's bound to be a little blurry. I sure don't intend to go any closer and get fed my own video camera. But where's the leader, the apex predator? Could that be him paying for a pack of Fig Newtons at the cash register? Yes, it is. The king of the beast, Footballus herois, his thunderous footsteps striking in terror in the hearts of creatures, great and small. Watch him make his majestic way to, as I pan my flip cam to follow Chase Ambrosy's path to his football buddies, he disappears from the frame. I frown. He's not going over there. He's headed to somewhere else. I get him back into the shot and struggle to continue my voiceover. But wait, mighty Footballus has changed directions. Sorry, guys. He's taking his mighty self to a different table, for reasons known only to his supreme mightiness. He's coming. Oh my god, he's coming here. I whip the camera away fast to leave a trail of burnt air hanging in the cafeteria. He's right opposite of me, larger than life, holding his tray over my table. Why is Chase Ambrosy coming anywhere near lowly me? Does he know I'm making fun of him and his friends in a YouTube video? If so, I'm dead. No ifs, ands, or buts. My last interaction with him was the time he and his co-Neanderthals stood me against the tetherball pole and played an intense game, the rope whipping around me until I was trussed up like a turkey. I'd probably still be there if it wasn't for the sanitation workers who had come to empty the dumpsters that day. Actually, I'm lucky I wasn't in the dumpster. Those jerks bullied Joel Weber so badly that his folks finally sent him to boarding school. Is anyone sitting here? Chase asks. I glance up to get a face full of something. He's standing there, looking like he's never laid eyes on me before. My mind screams, "Red alert! Red alert!" But aloud I say, "Help yourself." He takes a seat and then actually spreads his napkin across his lap, just like a civilized person. Although I look down at my own lap, no napkin, and probably none on any lap in the entire cafeteria. This is the weirdest thing that's ever happened. Unless, could the rumors be true? It was the biggest news in town that Chase Ambrosi fell off his roof and landed on his head this summer. You can still see the cuts and scrapes on his face and his arms in a sling, but the gossip around is that the guy actually has amnesia. He doesn't remember anything from before the accident. I thought it was just a rumor, but what other explanation could there be for why he's sitting here with me instead of his football buddies? And acting like a human being, no less. My video on hold, I turn back to eating, and let me tell you, that's not easy when you're sitting across from the apex predator, amnesia or not. I read that some amnesia is temporary. If it all comes back to him, I could have my entire egg salad sandwich shoved up my nose just for daring to be near him. Then I notice that he's struggling to saw away at the barbecued chicken breast. The dull plastic utensils don't make it easy, especially with one arm immobilized against his chest. He's working really hard at it. Beads of sweat stand on his eyebrows. I speak the craziest, most foolhardily words that have ever come out of my mouth. You need help with that? No thanks. He keeps on sawing, getting nowhere, his frustration growing. I still can't explain why I did it. I get up, loop around the long table, and approach Chase from behind. It's easier when both arms work. He battles a moment longer and then gives in with a sigh. Maybe I could use a hand. So there I am in the middle of the cafeteria, hunched over the apex predator, cutting up his chicken. At one point, Shoshana Weber passes by and shoots me a look that perfectly combines shock, amazement, and disapproval. Or maybe she's just trying to figure out why I'm sawing at his meat instead of his carotid artery. I finish, put down the knife, and hand him back the fork. Thanks, he says sheepishly. No big deal, I return to my side of the table, sit down, and hit the floor hard. A chorus of raucous laughter explodes all around me. That's when I notice I'm surrounded by football players. Bear puts my chair down on top of me, trapping me under it. Chase, man, you're at the wrong table, Aaron exclaims. Come with us. We saved you a spot. They practically kidnap him and drag him to the lion's den. A few seconds later, the chair is lifted off of me and somebody hauls me to my feet. Chase. Sorry, he says, looking uncomfortable. Come on, man, over here. Comes a volley of shouts. He hesitates. They're your teammates and your best friends, I tell him, because maybe he doesn't remember. Right. If I didn't know better, I'd think he wasn't that thrilled with that idea. Back in my seat, I take out my camera and realize that the video has been running the whole time. There's no picture, obviously, but the audio is all there. I might listen to it later just to prove to myself that I've had a close encounter with Chase Ambrosi and lived to tell the tale. Chapter 5. So we're back to Chase Ambrosi's perspective now. Every time I see a little girl, it brings me back to the one from my memory. The blonde girl with the blue dress, trimmed with white lace. Sorry, y'all. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe when you only remember one thing, it sticks with you. If only I could remember where I remember her from. I think of her again when I see the little kid on the monkey bars at the playground. It's my first day without the sling in more than a month. And since forever in a way, because I remember nothing from before the accident. I'm out walking, enjoying my freedoms from the tight wrapping on my shoulder. It feels fine, normal, and I need that after 2 weeks of school that were anything but. Normal is the last word to describe a place when you're a stranger in a strange land, despite the fact that everybody knows you. That's when I recognize the girl scrambling all over the jungle gym. It's Helene, my half-sister. She's definitely high energy and really kind of cute, crawling through the tunnels, whizzing down slides, and just as quickly climbing up again. She's a little too wild, especially up top. I guess she's too young to understand that falling on your head runs in our family. Just as the thought of that crosses my mind, she loses her grip and tumbles off the top of the twisty slide. I'm there like a shot, catching her and swinging her around like it's part of the game. She squeals in exhilaration, spreading her arms, and I get into the spirit, making airplane noises. She's loving it. I'm doubly thrilled because my shoulder is holding up fine. The two of us have a great time until she looks down and sees who's got her. Mommy! Her scream carries all the way around the park. It's okay, Helene. It's me, Chase, your brother. I want to go down. Now she's red in the face and crying. I set her on the ground and watch as she runs off to join Corinne, who's hustling our way. Great. Dad's family already has a problem with me, and now they're going to think I've been terrorizing their daughter. Sorry, I mumble. I didn't mean to scare her. I saw what happened. Thank you for catching her. There's nothing wrong with what she's saying. It's the way she's saying it. Too polite. Too distant. Like I'm a stranger instead of her stepson. Helene has her face buried in her mother's sweater and refuses to look at me. I guess she doesn't like me very much, I comment. Corinne softens. She's just a little afraid of you. Afraid of me? What could I have done that would make a 4-year-old freak out every time I come near her? Before I could finish the thought, a loud horn honks. A panel truck pulls up to the curb. Ambrosi Electric is stenciled in the side. The driver's side window rolls down and my dad sticks his head out. Fire up the grill at 5:30, Cor. I'm bringing home the biggest steaks you've ever seen. He catches sight of me. Hey, champ. What are you doing here? You're supposed to be at practice. I wave. Doctor's orders, remember? Your arm's fine. Yeah, pretty good. I point at my head. It's the concussion. He looks disgusted. Doctors. They'll keep you in a bubble wrap the rest of your life if you let them. Well, how about dinner then? I bet you could use a good steak. You're not going to get your strength back on rabbit food that Mom's slinging at you. Thanks. Some other time. I hesitate. I saw your state championship picture on the principal's wall. I didn't know. I knew at some point, but... He laughs with delight. There are a lot of athletes out there, but only a few of us can make it rain. There's something special about Ambrosi, man, champ. Don't let your mother coddle it out of you like she did with your brother. He drives off, his truck backfiring as he pulls away from the curb. Bye, Daddy, calls Helene. Bye, Helene, he says to her. As soon as we make eye contact, she looks away. I'm definitely famous at Hiwassee Middle School. The part I can't figure out is whether I'm famous good or famous bad. The athletic program is my home here, or at least it was before I got hurt. All my friends seem to be real jocks, mostly football players. I guess they were pretty worried when they heard about my accident. I pick up on the occasional grumbling that I have to miss the season, but mostly people are just relieved that I'm okay. The Hiwassee Hurricanes are kind of the kings of school. It's a pretty good role to come out of a coma and fall straight into. Since I'm the former captain, I'm almost like the king of kings. To be honest, though, it's hard to picture how I get along with them so well. They're loud, kind of obnoxious, and even though they're really tight, they spend a lot of time shoving and punching each other. Insults constantly fly between them. They probably don't mean it, but it can get pretty ugly. Was I like that too? When I was, me? Did I greet my closest friends by pointing out imaginary stains on their shirts so I could slap them in their faces? Did I insult their moms, their grandmothers, and their grandmothers' grandmothers? Probably. Even so, that was then and this is now. I've lost a step. Maybe because of my concussion. I can't keep up with those guys anymore. Aaron and Bear shield me from the worst of it. Dudes, they'll say, dial it down, our boy's injured. Or they'll step in front of me and absorb a friendly punch or forearm smash. I appreciate their help. Still, it doesn't change the fact that I'm not Chase that I used to be. I almost wish they'd stop trying to protect me. I hate being weak. The other guys are treating me like I'm strong. I'm not. I get that, but maybe I can fake it until my strength comes back. In the end, Aaron and Bear stress me out more than any of the others because they ask me all of these questions. What do you remember? Is your memory coming back yet? When does the doctor say that could happen? When will you be your old self again? Since I've got nothing else to offer them, I describe the one memory that I do have, the little girl in the blue dress. They listen with great concentration. And Aaron prompts, eyes wide. That's it. It's the only thing I remember. But who is she? Bear persists. Where did you see her? I shrug. I don't know. That's all I've got. They stare at me for a long moment and then both burst out laughing. I'm annoyed. It's not funny. Don't you think I'd tell you more if I had more to tell? Do you know what the word amnesia means? Relax, Aaron says, an arm around my shoulder. We've got your back. Boys to the end. Aside from the football players, most of the kids act odd around me. Conversations end when I enter a room. Faces turn towards lockers as I make my way down a hall. I get that the whole school's heard the story of my amnesia and they're a little weirded out by me, but that doesn't explain everything. This one girl who's pushing a rolling cart of textbooks, when she sees me walking next to her, her eyes just about pop out of her head. She spins away and slams into the wall of a doorway alcove. Books go flying in all directions. She trips on one and starts to go down, and I grab her arm just to steady her. Then she really loses it. Don't! She squeals so loudly that we're the instant center of attention. I'm mystified. Let me help you pick those up. No! And she's gone, practically running along the corridor, dropping even more books as she escapes. What did I do? I ask Aaron and Bear about it after school, and they treat it like the stupidest question ever. What do you care if a bunch of random nobodies don't like you, Bear demands. It's not that, I tell them. She was scared. Where'd that come from? The two exchange a glance. Man, you really did lose your memory, Aaron comments. Come on, guys, talk to me. Bear's impatient. We don't have time. Why? I query. There's no practice today. We've got to be at the Graybeard Motel by 3:30. What's the Graybeard Motel? We've still got 2 months left on our community service, Bear supplies, at the assigned living place on Portland Street, helping out the geezers and the grandmas. Not everybody's lucky enough to fall off a roof and get excused. I'm on community service? I may not remember much, but I know that community service isn't like getting attention at school. It's something you get ordered to do in court by a judge. I struggle to sound casual. The last thing I want to do is come across like the wimp to my two best friends. What did we do to get sentenced? I nearly choked out the word. To community service. It was no big deal, Aaron scoffs. We planted a couple of cherry bombs in the piano at an open house. It was awesome. Cops are such sticklers about property damage, like there's a great piano shortage in the world or something. So I'm nonchalant, but it takes me some doing. Arrested? We have to go, Bear insists. Yeah, Aaron faces me. Listen, man, I know it bugs you that you can't remember anything about yourself before the accident. Let me fill you in on some details. Our boy Chase isn't the kind of kid to get bent out of shape about a bunch of idiots overreacting to a few firecrackers. We did what we did, and we got in trouble for it. End of story. End of story, I echo. I'm speaking carefully, almost as if I'm trying it on for size. I mean, nobody got hurt, so what's the big deal? Bear snickers. Yeah, right. Nobody. The problem with Hawassi, Aaron goes on, is that everybody's jealous of us. I don't blame them. We do what we want, and nobody messes with us. Even the adults are jealous because when they were kids, they were probably losers too. So when Fritz Wallace or some judge gets the chance to slap us down, they go hard, since it's the only revenge they're ever going to get. You can't take it personally. I nod in agreement. It's kind of not fair. Bear grins. Sometimes I cry myself to sleep at night just thinking of all the injustice. I laugh. Aaron and Bear wouldn't cry if you jammed flaming bamboo under their fingernails. They're the toughest guys in the world. Thanks for being straight with me, I tell them, and I mean it. My own mother kept me in the dark about this. I didn't know what she's thinking. Maybe that if I can't remember it, it never happened. Aaron shrugs. It's a mom thing. They're all the same. If it's fun, it must be bad. My dad warned me about that, I admit. He said I shouldn't let her coddle me. Your dad is the man, Bear exclaims. He was part of the best football team to ever come out of this place. Next to ours, I mean. When you come back, we're going to wreck. That pulls me up short. Bear knows me as well as anybody that I'm out for the season. It makes me wonder, should I be? Dad doesn't think so. It's Mom the cobbler who took Dr. Cooperman's word for it. How much should I put my trust into her? She's the one who tried to hide a pretty major part of my past from me. If it wasn't for Aaron and Bear, I might have never figured it out. Who knows what else she's holding back? When Mom gets home from work that day, I'm there at the front door to throw it in her face. Where do you get off? She looks totally bewildered. I forge on. You were so devastated when I got amnesia, but not too devastated to pass up a little editing job on my life? Editing job? Don't you think I have the right to know that Aaron, Bear, and I were arrested and sentenced to community service? She doesn't answer right away. She sets down her bag, shrugs off her jacket, walks into the living room, and collapses wearily into a chair. At last, she says, you've just been through an awful ordeal. How can it help your recovery if I tell you a lot of things that are just going to upset you? Things? I echo. You mean there are more? How many other nice little stories have you been keeping away from me? She seems genuinely sad. I'll love you and support you through the end of the world. You know that. I've always seen the good in you, Chase, and I believe that's the person you really are, deep down. But you've had your moments. I have a sickening vision of faces turning away from me, of kids shrinking back at my approach, fear in their body language. I think of that crazy girl who was angry enough to dump a tub of frozen yogurt over my head. What if she wasn't crazy at all? What if I deserved it? Is my camera frozen? I hope this is working. Then I think back to the conversation with Aaron and Bear. There are two sides to every story, and Mom is taking the opposite one, but that shouldn't surprise me. Her kid got in trouble, major trouble, in the community. If the community service is any indication. Okay, it wasn't a very nice thing to do, I admit, but I don't understand why the school had to make such a big deal out of it. She stares at me. How can you, of all people, say that after everything that's happened? Maybe because I don't remember everything that's happened, I shoot back. They were firecrackers, not grenades. It was a prank. My mother's expression becomes hard. Never mind the poor musician you practically put into cardiac arrest. The problem was the auditorium of people that thought they were under attack. It was pure luck that nobody got injured in the panic. I'm sure that's what Dr. Fritz Wallace was thinking when he decided to bring in the police. I hear Mom tell the story and feel ashamed. But if you go by Aaron and Bear, it was nothing to gag. It was a nothing gag that the school blew out of proportion because they were out to get us. Who's telling the truth? Is Mom making it sound worse to scare me straight because, as Dad says, she's coddling me? When I got amnesia, I lost 13 years of myself. I have to replace those memories using what I can pick up from the other people. But everyone has a slightly different version of me. Mom, Dad, my friends, the kids at school, even Frozen Yogurt Girl. For all I know, the lunch ladies know me better than anyone else. Who should I believe?